Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney
Chronicles. Ah,
It was very obvious last time after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. Then, hello? Is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like...
Inspector Hasanaga. Oh yes. That's it. That's the ship stopped suddenly. The bolt flew across the locked door.
Yes. It's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asagi was killed, the SS Buria made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked over everything.
Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I?
Then, when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything that had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asagi's cabin.
Oh my.
Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova?
Ellipses say no.
Are you out of mind? You say Buria made emergency stop. Does seem a little far-fetched. That possibly have happened. Unless you're saying the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh. It is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside used to trigger the emergency alarm?
Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency?
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain can't afford to rely on his eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crew to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait. It was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. Shomes.
Don't worry, it was not Shomes.
As indeed, it did a little earlier today. Oh, so that second time was Shomes.
I'll just tell you, the first time was not Shomes. I don't know about the second time. It could have been him. Mr. Shomes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with him? He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with the ship! I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now. I'm sure all this can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide closed. So, what we must now consider...
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Assange, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not?
You are idiots. Furia is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhata? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhata?
Fascinating. Do show us, my good fellow. What evidence permits the theory that some emergency hurts this vessel last night?
The report.
Autopsy report?
No, the log, I meant.
I mean, the autopsy report is still pretty valid.
But they didn't know about the death until this morning, why?
But it does qualify.
Yeah. Read the log.
Okay. Nothing to report, nothing to report. Nothing. A lot of things.
So something happened at 2 a.m.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? Duh. This is correct. Why? In the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties, yes? What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you're rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau thing in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, We took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, "nothing to report," every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is, because nothing happened. Objection! Hold it. Take that. Take that. Hold it. Objection! Objection! Take that!
I love them. Yeah, the courthouse salmon.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us shortly after 2 a.m. something happened. Here aboard the SS Buria.
We're getting there.
Something significantly,
Sufficiently.
something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill the ship's logs. In fact.
Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish. Ellipses. If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh? Why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed.
The officer's alarm. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Oh no. That's a good point. More, please. Ellipses. What of the throbbing? Sorry? How do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Ah! Oh, yes. You've had a headache, right? In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I!
My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Thank you, Toast.
You're welcome, Maggie.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today too. Though I blame Susato mostly. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of Easy. I don't recall remembering anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had these cuffs put on me by that point. I wake up when all that was happening to me. He got 2 servings of sleep medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me, Mr. Nakata, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yeah. Sorry. A stowaway class of accommodations doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Ah, well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dinner that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? Yeah!
It sure is.
That chicken dinner was a comatose dinner. My dear fellow, does that not strike you?
Oh, Mr. Shomes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
I do. No. Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night has been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a sulfuronic designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consume it. Sleeping drug? A sleeping drug? Am I doing his voice right?
Eh.
I need more water. A sleeping drug?
There we go.
You mean... Whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug, so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop.
Mrs. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Simone Shomes mean. What a far-fetched idea. That's exactly what he means.
Precisely.
She's just like, no, that's ridiculous. And he's like, yes, that's exactly.
Placing every meal of every passenger on board with a sulfuronic drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator.
Mr. Shomes.
No, they're covering her ass because she killed someone.
Question. How did they get her on the boat?
Wait. Oh, that's why they drugged everyone. To sneak her aboard without anyone noticing. They drugged everyone. They all fell asleep.
They made the stop.
Right. She came aboard last night. They would have had to stop at some point. Okay. So, we know she's innocent. Because they stopped the boat to let her on.
Well, that isn't completely clear. That just explains why they drugged everyone.
Yes. Or, you could just let someone on the boat and not drug people?
I mean,
I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade.
please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
We all agreed to help everyone together. She knew, she threw away everything. Her fame in the ballet. Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You're right. We put sleeping drugs in chicken last night. Yeah, I do remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. A tablet? A lump of something strange and... What? Did you use entire fucking tablet? You grind that shit up and smother it over if you're going to drug someone.
Yeah, because...
Don't drug people, and just because I gave you advice on how to do it, don't do it. Ah. We could not make all drug. How do you say dissolve? What about heavy seasoning?
Oh my god.
At midnight, the waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. All the passengers of the SS Burya slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion, their evening meals had contained... God, I butchered that line. No, I'm gonna try again. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion, their evening meal had contained... So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. That means it would have been possible for you could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosma's door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case. and there would have been complete chaos. I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabin. After which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Right. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night.
Yes.
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. Precisely. Except, again, that raises another question. How would Pavlova have gotten into her cabin when she pulled it? Yeah.
Because she couldn't have killed Cosmo, pulled it, and then gotten back to her own cabin.
And so, not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. Someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night.
But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
Pavlova's innocent. For the reasons I stated. She just got on. She would have to be in her cabin. She would have gotten locked out of her own. It's Stroganoff. He saw Cosmo wandering around, and Cosmo saw Pavlova.
Because the cat ended up in his cabin.
So Stroganoff took it into his own hands and ended Cosmo's life. That's where I'm at in this. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes.
That's not true. Sailors are superstitious.
I mean, there's a lot of things out in the open water.
Yeah, that's true. The ocean is scary.
A laudable trait. What? I'm quite the same,
Disposition.
I'm Quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhara? Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt in the wind.
What accusatory cry of guilt?
Sorry, It is him. God. Stroganoff. You could have just said, "You saw nothing. Please go away."
Actually, since he wrote the message, doesn't that mean he knew about Kazuma? And it's just like, I keep my mouth shut, you keep your mouth shut. Like double blackmail.
Yeah, he could have blackmailed Kazuma with, "I know you have a stowaway. I have a stowaway. You keep your mouth shut. I keep mine."
Yeah.
And then it would have been fine. Because I'm convinced it's Stroganoff now. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basic of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth.
3 in 1 chapter, man.
I want to go to court already. So, Mr. Naruhara, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Shomes? And before we start this, we are calling it a part.
Bye.
Bye.